So welcome in this lecture in which we will discuss about the combustion in compression ignition engines. In a conventional spark ignition engine, the fuel and air are mixed together in the intake system, inducted through intake valve into the cylinder where mixing with the residual gas takes place, and then compressed. Under normal operating conditions, combustion is initiated towards the end of compression stroke at the spark plug by an electric discharge. Now this spark that has been generated by an electric discharge, that basically produces the flame front, and this flame front propagates outward from the spark plug location towards the end of the combustion chamber in the form of a circular wave front. As the flame continues to grow and propagate across the combustion chamber, the pressure within the cylinder rises steadily above the value it would have been in the absence of combustion. The pressure reaches a maximum after the top dead center, but before the cylinder charge is fully burned, and then decreases as the cylinder volume continues to increase during the remainder of the expansion stroke. So this is how basically combustion takes place in SI engines. Now the combustion phenomena, or you can say even the method of supply of fuel, is different in case of diesel engines as compared to that of auto engines. Fuel is injected by the fuel injection system into the engine cylinder toward the end of the compression stroke, just before the desired start of combustion. The liquid fuel, usually injected at high velocity as one or more jets through small orifices or nozzles in the injector tip, atomizes into small drops and penetrates into the combustion chamber. The fuel vaporizes and mixes with the high temperature, high pressure cylinder air. Since the air temperature and pressure are above the fuel's ignition point, spontaneous ignition of portions of already mixed fuel and air occurs after a delay period of few crank angle degrees. The cylinder pressure increases as combustion of the fuel-air mixture occurs. The consequent compression of the unburnt portion of the charge shortens the delay before ignition for the fuel and air, which has mixed to within combustible limits, which then burns rapidly. It also reduces the evaporation time of the remaining liquid fuel. Injection continues until the desired amount of fuel has entered the cylinder. Atomization, vaporization, fuel-air mixing and combustion continue until essentially all the fuel has passed through each process. In addition, mixing of the air remaining in the cylinder with burning and already burned gases continues throughout the combustion and expansion processes. The compression ignition combustion process is extremely complex. Though the process depends on the characteristics of the fuel, on the design of engine's combustion chamber and fuel injection system, and on the operating condition, but it can be said that it is unsteady, heterogeneous, three-dimensional combustion process. Since injection commences just before the combustion starts, there is no knock limit as in the case of a spark ignition engine, resulting from the spontaneous ignition of the pre-mixed fuel and air in the end gas. Hence, a higher engine compression ratio can be used in the case of CI engines, thus improving its fuel conversion efficiency relative to the SI engine. Also, injection timing is used to control combustion timing. The delay period between the start of injection and start of combustion must be kept short in case of CI engines. A short delay is also needed to hold the maximum cylinder gas pressure below the maximum the engine can tolerate. Thus, the spontaneous ignition characteristics of the fuel-air mixture must be held within a specified range. And this is done by requiring that diesel fuel must have a cetane number, a measure of ease of ignition of that fuel in a typical diesel environment above a certain value. Since engine torque is varied by varying the amount of fuel injected per cycle, with the engine air flow essentially unchanged, the engine can be operated unthrottled. Thus, pumping work requirements are low, improving part load mechanical efficiency relative to the SI engine. As the amount of fuel injected per cycle is increased, problems with air utilization among combustion lead to the formation of excessive amounts of soot which cannot be burnt up prior to exhaust. This excessive soot or black smoke in the exhaust constrains the fuel air ratio at maximum engine power to values 20% or more lean of stoichiometric. Hence, the maximum indicated mean effective pressure in a naturally aspirated engine is lower than values for equivalent spark ignition engine. Also, as the diesel always operates with lean fuel air ratios, the effective value of gamma over the expansion ratio or expansion process is higher than that in the case of SI engine. This gives a higher fuel conversion efficiency than the spark ignition engines for a given expansion ratio. Now, what are the basic factors that make the running cost of CI engine lower and render them suitable for all industrial transport and other application are: CI engines are having higher thermal efficiency as compared to the SI engines. Moreover, CI engine fuel is less expensive than SI engine fuel. Earlier, there was a wide gap between the CI engine fuel and the SI engine fuel. Now, this gap has reduced drastically, and there is marginal difference between the cost of CI engine fuel and SI engine fuel. CI engine fuel is having higher specific gravity than SI engine fuel, and moreover, as the fuel is sold on volume basis, so basically more mass per liter of fuel are obtained in case of CI engine fuel, that is diesel. Now, there are some certain inherent disadvantages of CI engine. Because of the higher compression ratio, the engine parts are subjected to greater forces in case of CI engine, and as the parts are subjected to greater forces, so in order to sustain these forces, the parts are heavier, and as heterogeneous mixture is used in the case of CI engines, we go for leaner mixtures. And both these factors, that is heavier parts because of the higher compression ratio and the usage of lean mixture, makes the CI engine heavier than the SI engine. There is more noise and vibration in the case of CI engine, and the smoke and odor due to incomplete combustion of heterogeneous mixture and droplet combustion are other factors that serve as disadvantages of CI engine and make them less preferable. Now, how the combustion is taking place in the CI engine? In the case of CI engine, air is being inhaled in the cylinder during the suction stroke, and that air is being compressed during the compression stroke. The compression ratio is quite high. It is ranging from 12:1 to 24:1. So when the air is being compressed, definitely its temperature and pressure are going to increase. Now, what is happening? One or more jets of fuel are injected into this highly compressed and highly heated air in the combustion chamber, and temperature of this compressed air is so high that it has exceeded the ignition point of fuel. Now when fuel droplets are injected into this high temperature air, then basically it initiates the combustion. So when every minute droplet is entering the hot air and the temperature of that hot air is say 450 degrees Celsius to 550 degrees Celsius and pressure is of the order of 30 to 40 bar. So when minute droplet is entering that hot air, then each droplet is quickly surrounded by an envelope of its own vapor. Actually, what is happening? To evaporate the liquid droplet of fuel, latent heat is absorbed from the surrounding air, which reduces the temperature of a thin layer of air surrounding the droplet, and definitely some time must elapse before this temperature can be raised again by absorbing heat from the main bulk of air in its vicinity, in its surroundings. As soon as this vapor and air in contact with it reaches a certain temperature and the local air fuel ratio is within combustible range, ignition takes place. Once ignition has taken place and the flame has been established, the heat required for further evaporation will be supplied from that released by combustion, and the vapor would be burning as quickly as it finds fresh oxygen. So we can see that there is certain delay period before ignition takes place. The duration of delay period depends upon many factors, on the temperature and pressure of the air and the self-ignition temperature of the fuel. The higher the air temperature or the lower the self-ignition temperature, the shorter will be the delay. Higher pressure also leads to short ignition delay because of the increase in the rate of heat transfer and more intimate contact between the hot air and the cold fuel. Once the delay period is passed, that is over, and the ignition is established, the rate of burning depends on the ability of droplet to find fresh oxygen. That is, it is depending on the rate of which it is moving through the air or the air is moving past it. See, it is not like that fuel is injected at once in the CA engine. It is basically spread over a definite period of time, and that time basically corresponds to 20 to 40 degree of crank travel. The initial fuel droplets meet air whose temperature is only little above their self-ignition temperature, and they ignite after the ignition delay. The subsequent fuel droplets find air already heated to much higher temperature by the burning of initial droplets, and therefore light up much more quickly, almost as they are getting released from the injector nozzle. Now the fuel droplets that are injected into the combustion chamber of CA engine, they are not distributed uniformly throughout the combustion chamber. So the fuel air mixture formed in the combustion chamber is heterogeneous. Now under these circumstances, had the air within the cylinder being motionless, only a small proportion of the fuel would have found oxygen sufficiently, and even burning of this fuel would have been slow, or you can say it could have been restricted also, it could have been choked also, as it would have been surrounded by its own products of combustion. So what is the requirement to make the combustion to occur in a homogeneous way? So it is required to impart an orderly and controlled movement to air and fuel, so that continuous supply of fresh air is maintained to each burning droplet, and moreover it is also required to sweep away the products of combustion. Now, as in the case of SI engine combustion, we know that motion of air is essential to speed up the combustion. So that thing also applies for the CI engine. But even then, there is a big difference between the air motion that occurs in the SI engine or in the CI engine. In SI engine we call it turbulence, and in CI engine we call it swirl. Now what is basically turbulence? Turbulence that we find in SI engines is basically disordered air motion with no general direction of flow, and basically it breaks up the surface of flame front and distribute the shreds of flame throughout an externally prepared homogeneous combustible mixture. Now swirl, on the other hand, which is required in CA engines, that is basically an orderly movement of the air with particular direction of flow, such that continuous supply of fresh air is brought to each burning droplet, and the products of combustion are being swept away, which could otherwise have suffocated it. So here we will describe the stages of combustion. The first stage is ignition delay. The period between the start of fuel injection into the combustion chamber and start of the combustion is known as ignition delay. The start of injection has been shown by the letter SOI along with the arrow. That is, at point A we are having the start of injection. Now the start of combustion, which basically says that the point where the P theta curve separates from the pure air compression curve. Or you can say the start of combustion can also be determined from the change of slope on the P theta diagram, or the change of slope from heat release analysis diagram. So here it is denoted by the point B. So you can say at point B, the motoring curve, that is pure air compression curve, is getting separated from the actual curve. So only actual curve has been shown over here on the slide, and the air compression curve or motoring curve has not been shown. So this point B can also be determined by P theta diagram, and here you have shown it on the heat release rate diagram. Now during the ignition delay, not only injection of fuel into the cylinder is taking place, but also atomization of fuel droplets and vaporization of fuel along with the mixing in the high temperature, high pressure air is also taking place. Atomization means breaking up of liquid fuel droplets into smaller droplets. So that is quite necessary to make, as far as possible, the mixture to be homogeneous, though ultimately this mixture remains heterogeneous in the case of CI engines. But even then, atomization is done in order to achieve, as far as possible, the homogeneity in the mixture. Now the premixed or rapid combustion phase. In this phase, the combustion of fuel which has mixed with air to within the flammability limits during the ignition delay period is occurring rapidly, and that too in few crank angle degrees. When this burning mixture is added to the fuel which becomes ready for burning and burns during this phase, the high heat release rates characteristics of this phase result. So you can see in the premixed combustion phase that rapid rise of pressure, or you can say heat release, is taking place. Now in the mixing controlled combustion phase, once the fuel and air which was premixed during the ignition delay have been consumed, so the burning rate or heat release rate is controlled by the rate at which mixture becomes available for burning. Though several processes are involved over here, these processes include liquid fuel atomization, vaporization, mixing of fuel vapor with air, pre-flame chemical reactions, but the rate of burning is controlled in this phase primarily by the fuel vapor air mixing process. The heat release rate may or may not reach a second, usually lower peak in this phase. It decreases as the phase process. So though in this diagram the second peak has also been shown, but this may occur or this may not occur. So basically about 70 to 80% of the total heat evolves by the end of this process. Now the late combustion phase. So heat release continues at the lower rate during the expansion stroke, and definitely it is having several regions. A small fraction of the fuel may not yet have been burnt. A fraction of the fuel energy is present in soot and fuel rich combustion products and can still be released. The cylinder charge is non-uniform, and mixing during this period promotes more complete combustion and less dissociated product gases. Now, in the case of SI engine, homogeneous mixture of air and fuel vapor is being prepared by the carburetor. So basically, in the case of SI engine, as the load or speed is changing, the quantity of mixture varies, keeping the ratio of air and fuel to be constant for normal running. Now in the case of CI engine, as the speed or load changes, the quantity of fuel injected varies. Now what remains constant is the supply of air. That is why CI engines are normally known as constant air supply engines. So here, as the load varies, the quantity of fuel varies, thus governing the quality of the mixture. So here the overall air fuel ratio is varying from 100:1 to 20:1. Now we recall that I have told you that inflammability limits of hydrocarbon fuel is varying from about 8:1 to 30:1. So now question arises, then how the combustion is taking place in lean mixtures such as 100:1 or 80:1 or 60:1. So whatever may be the overall air fuel ratio in a CI engine due to injection of fuel, there is a heterogeneous mixture with air fuel ratio varying widely in different areas within the chamber. There may be some areas in the combustion chamber where there is only air, means local air fuel ratio reaches infinity, and there may be some other areas in the combustion chamber where there is only fuel, no air. So here local air fuel ratio becomes 0, and there would be other areas where the mixture is very lean or very rich. So in these areas where the mixture is either very lean or very rich, or the areas in which there is only fuel, no air, and the areas where there is only air, no fuel. So in these areas no definite flame front will sustain. But except these areas or spaces where the mixture is very lean or very rich, there are also some areas within the combustion chamber where the local air fuel ratio is within the combustible limits, and moreover there are Also favorable conditions prevailing. Favorable conditions related to temperature. Okay, so because of that ignition occurs. So it may appear like there are many spark plugs in the combustion chamber of CI engines, though there is no actually any spark plug in the CI engine, but it appears as if there are spark plugs and they are getting ignited at several places. Now if we compare the air fuel ratio at the condition of full load in CI engine and SI engine, then we come to know that in the case of SI engine, the air fuel ratio at full load is about 14:1, means it is slightly richer than the stoichiometric, and in the case of diesel engine it is 20:1. We know that indicated thermal efficiency increases with the leaner mixtures, but the MEP, that is mean effective pressure and power output, reduces, and basically this results in larger engine size for a given power output. Now the mean effective pressure and power output is maximum at the point which is close to chemically correct ratio. Hence the scientist or the CI engine designer, they are basically trying their best that air fuel ratio should be as near as possible to the chemically correct ratio when the engine is operating at full load. But I would like to tell you that the poor distribution of fuel, and not only pure distribution of fuel, but its limited intermixing with the air, gives rise to objectionable smoke when the engine is running at nearly chemically correct ratio of the mixture. So what is done? Then excess air is provided to the CI engine. So now, because of incomplete utilization of air, the power of diesel engine per liter of volume is less than that of petrol engine. Ignition delay in the diesel engine is defined as the time or crank angle interval between the start of injection and the start of combustion. The start of injection is usually taken as the time when the injector needle lifts off its seat. The start of combustion is more difficult to determine precisely. It is best identified from the change in slope of the heat release rate, determined from the cylinder pressure data. Depending on the character of the combustion process, the pressure data alone may indicate when pressure change due to combustion first occurs. Both physical and chemical processes must take place before a significant fraction of the chemical energy of the injected liquid fuel is released. The physical processes are the atomization of the liquid fuel jet, the vaporization of the fuel droplets, the mixing of fuel with vapor with air. The chemical processes are pre-combustion reactions of the fuel, air, residual gas mixture, which leads to auto-ignition. These processes are affected by the engine design and operating variables and fuel characteristics. Now, good atomization requires high fuel injection pressure, small injector hole diameter, optimum fuel viscosity, and high cylinder air pressure at the time of injection. The rate of vaporization of the fuel droplets depends on the size of droplets, their distribution, their velocity, the pressure and the temperature inside the chamber, and also on the volatility of the fuel. The rate of fuel air mixing is controlled largely by injector and combustion chamber design. Some combustion chamber and piston head shapes are designed to amplify swirl and create turbulence in the air charge during compression, whereas some engine designs use a pre-chamber or swirl chamber to create the vigorous air motion necessary for rapid fuel air mixing. Also, injector design features such as the number and spatial arrangement of the injector holes determine the fuel spray pattern. The details of each nozzle hole affect the spray cone angle. The penetration of spray depends on the size of fuel droplets, the injection pressure, the air density, and the airflow characteristics. The arrangements of the sprays, the spray cone angle, the extent of spray penetration, and the airflow all affect the rate of air entrainment into the spray. The chemical component of the ignition delay is controlled by pre-combustion reactions of the fuel. Since the diesel engine combustion process is heterogeneous, its spontaneous ignition process is even more complex. Though ignition occurs in vapor phase regions, oxidation reactions can proceed in the liquid phase as well as between the fuel molecules and the oxygen dissolved in fuel droplets. Also, cracking of large hydrocarbon molecules to smaller molecules is occurring. These chemical processes depend on the composition of the fuel and the cylinder charge temperature and pressure, as well as the physical processes which we have discussed just now, which govern the distribution of fuel throughout the air charge. Since the ignition characteristics of the fuel affect the ignition delay, this property of fuel is very important in determining the diesel engine operating characteristics such as fuel conversion efficiency, smoothness of operation, misfire, smoke emissions, noise, and ease of starting. The ignition quality of a fuel is defined by its cetane number. So cetane number is very important for the fuels that are used in CI engines, that is diesel engines. Cetane number is determined by comparing the ignition delay of the fuel with that of primary reference fuel mixtures in standardized engine test. For low cetane fuels with too long an ignition delay, most of the fuel is injected before ignition occurs, which result in very rapid burning rates once combustion starts, with high rates of pressure rise and high peak pressures. Under extreme conditions, when auto ignition of the most of the injected fuel occurs, this produces an audible knocking sound, often referred to as diesel knock. For fuels with very low cetane numbers with an exceptionally long delay, ignition may occur sufficiently late in the combustion process for the burning process to be quick, resulting in incomplete combustion, reduced power output, and poor fuel conversion efficiency. For higher cetane number fuels with shorter ignition delays, ignition occurs before most of the fuel is injected. The rate of heat release and pressure rise are then controlled primarily by the rate of injection and fuel air mixing, and smoother engine operation results. So the ignition quality of a diesel fuel is defined by its cetane number. The method used to determine the ignition quality in terms of cetane number is analogous to that used for determining the anti-knock quality of gasoline in terms of octane number. The cetane number is defined by the blends of two pure hydrocarbon reference fuel, cetane, that is N-hexadecane, and its formula is C16H34. So this is basically a hydrocarbon with high ignition quality and represents the top of the scale with a cetane number of 100. An isocetane that is heptamethylnonane, which has very low ignition, represents the bottom of the scale with a cetane number of 15. Thus cetane number is given by percentage N-cetane plus 0.5 into percent of heptamethylnonane. So we have discussed the two components of ignition delay, that is physical delay and chemical delay. And we have also discussed that period of physical delay is the time between the beginning of injection and the attainment of the chemical reaction condition. And in the physical delay period, the fuel is atomized, vaporized and mixed with air and raised in temperature. Whereas the second part, which is known as chemical delay, in this flame reaction starts slowly and then accelerate until the local inflammation or ignition takes place. Generally, chemical delay is longer than the physical delay. However, it depends on the temperature. At higher temperature, chemical reaction is quicker and the physical delay is longer than the chemical delay. So the delay period refers to the sum of physical and chemical delay. In most of the CI engines, ignition delay is shorter than the duration of injection. In the chapter of SI engine, we discussed about the ignition lag in SI engine. In fact, ignition lag in SI engine is basically equivalent to the chemical delay in the CI engine. There is no component like physical delay in the SI engine, as the charge consists of homogeneous mixture of vaporized fuel and air, because in SI engine already mixing atomization takes place in the carburetor itself. The delay period in the CI combustion affects the rate of pressure rise and hence knocking. It also affects the startability. And we also came to know that pressure reached during the second stage will depend on the duration of delay period. The longer the delay period, the more rapid and higher is the pressure rise, since more fuel will be present in the cylinder before the rate of burning comes under control. This causes rough running and may cause diesel knock. Therefore, the diesel engine designer aims to keep the delay period as short as possible, both for smooth running and to maintain control over the pressure changes. But some delay period is necessary, otherwise the droplets would not be dispersed in the air for complete combustion, and which may result in high smoke and high fuel consumption. In practice, however, the delay period is more than the required. The designer's efforts are always devoted towards the shortening of it as much as possible. As the most important property of the fuel as far as delay period is concerned is the self-ignition temperature. A lower self-ignition temperature means a wider range between it and the temperature of the compressed air, and this will lead to lower delay period. Cetane number, as we have discussed, that it is a scale for comparing the ignition delay of the various diesel fuels. A higher cetane number means a lower delay period and a smoother engine operation. The cetane number depends on the chemical composition of the fuel. The more paraffinic hydrocarbons are contained in the fuel, the higher will be its cetane number. So it is somewhat reverse to that of SI engine. In SI engine, more octane number of the fuel is basically due to branching of the hydrocarbons. And here, cetane number is higher because of more paraffinic, that is more straight chain hydrocarbons in the fuel. Other properties of fuel which affect delay period are volatility, latent heat, viscosity and surface tension. The volatility and latent heat affect the time taken to form an envelope of vapor. The viscosity and surface tension influence the fineness of atomization. Now, injection pressure or size of droplet. Now, it appears that in the CI engine, in order to achieve the complete combustion in the very short time available, the liquid fuel should be injected in droplets of smallest size to obtain largest surface volume ratio. but it should be kept in mind that rate of burning depends primarily upon the rate at which products of combustion can be removed from the surface and replaced by fresh oxygen. That is, it depends upon the rate at which burning droplet can move relative to the surrounding air. A smaller droplet will have lesser momentum and hence lesser relative velocity, and once its initial velocity is lost, it will travel in air with little relative velocity, resulting in its partial suffocation by its own products of combustion. Secondly, as the pressure rise after ignition depends on the area of inflammation, the smaller the size and greater the number of droplets, the larger will be the aggregate area of inflammation, and therefore the greater the uncontrolled pressure rise. The disadvantage associated with the large droplet is that subsequent rate of burning is too slow, and hence a trade-off, means a compromise should be made. So as the size of droplet depends on the injection pressure, it can be said that lower the injection pressure, the lower the rate of pressure rise during uncontrolled phase and smoother the running is. The delay period increases with the increase in injection advance angle. The reason for increase in delay period with increase in injection advance angle is that the pressure and temperature are lower when injection begins. When the injection advances angles are small, the delay period reduces and the operation of the engine is smoother, but the power is reduced because large amount of fuel burns during expansion, that is after burning. The optimum angle of injection advance depends on many factors, but generally it varies between 12 degree to 20 degree before top dead center, and this cause peak pressure to occur 10 to 15 degree after top dead center. The duration of injection and the delivery law means the change in quantity of fuel supplied with the angle of crank travel also affects the combustion process. When duration of injection is decreased with the same fuel delivery per cycle, the delay period remains the same, but the rate of pressure rise increases since more fuel is supplied into the cylinder by the moment of ignition. Now, increase in the compression ratio raises the temperature and density of the air, and you can see from the graph also that as the compression ratio is increasing, the temperature of the compressed air, denoted by graph A, is also increasing. Now, the auto ignition temperature, the minimum auto ignition temperature decreases due to increased density of air. Why? Because due to increased density of air, the molecules are in closer contact and the time of reaction is getting reduced when the fuel is injected. Now, as the difference between the compressed air temperature and minimum auto ignition temperature is increasing, as shown in the graph, with the increased value of compression ratio, the delay period decreases. Now, this point suggests us that we should go for the highest possible compression ratio in diesel engines, because delay period is getting decreased as the compression ratio is increasing. But is it easy to go for higher compression ratios? What could be the practical problems associated with that? Now, you know that in CI engines compression ratio is quite high, and the compression space is already very small. We cannot increase clearance volume with beyond a certain limit. Now, when we cannot increase clearance volume, but we have to increase clearance space, then definitely without increasing the clearance lift, we have to create some clearance volume, and that is done by providing working clearance between the piston and the cylinder head and around the walls. But that again poses a problem for us. Between these working clearance, which is there between the piston and cylinder head, around the walls, thin layer or pockets of air are getting escaped into them. And in these pockets of air or thin layers of air which remain confined within these small clearances, fuel cannot reach. And as the compression ratio increases, the amount of unused air to which the fuel cannot reach is increasing, and it decreases the volumetric efficiency as well as power. Moreover, if we use high compression ratio, then definitely the maximum pressure of the cycle also increases. It means now engine has to withstand higher pressures. So that basically necessitates the increase in weight of the reciprocating parts as the engine as a whole. So the design engineer is then bound to use the lowest compression ratio which can satisfy the needs of easy cold starting and light load running at high speeds. So we are moving opposite to the SI engine design practice, because in SI engine the design practice is to use highest possible compression ratio. That is there key. In that case, the use of higher compression ratio is limited by detonation. But here the maximum peak pressure in the case of CI engine is only marginally affected by the compression ratio, because with the compression ratio delay period is shorter and therefore the rise of pressure on ignition is lower. Increasing the intake temperature would result in increase of the compressed air temperature, which basically reduce the delay period. However, increasing the intake temperature by preheating is undesirable, because it would reduce the density of air and hence volumetric efficiency as well as power output. Increase in intake pressure or supercharging reduces the auto ignition temperature and hence reduces the delay period. As the compression pressure will increase with intake pressure, the peak pressure will be higher. Also, the power output will be more as cylinder will contain more air and hence more fuel can be injected per stroke. Increasing the jacket water temperature increases compressed air temperature, thus reducing the delay period. Increasing the fuel temperature would reduce both physical and chemical delay period. See, delay period can be given either in terms of absolute time, that is in milliseconds, or in terms of crank angle rotation. At constant speed, delay time is proportional to delay angle. So when we are talking about constant speed operation, we need not mention whether we mean delay period in terms of milliseconds or crank angle. But when we mention about variable speed operation, then we should clarify whether we mean delay period in terms of milliseconds or in terms of crank angle. In variable speed operation, the delay period may decrease in terms of milliseconds but increases in the terms of crank angle. As the engine speed increases, the loss of heat during compression decreases, resulting the increase in temperature and pressure of the compressed air. thus reducing the delay period in milliseconds. But in degrees of crank travel, the delay period increases. As the amount of fuel injected during delay period depends on crank degrees and not on absolute time, because the fuel pump is geared to the engine at high speeds, there will be more fuel present in the cylinder to take part in the second stage of uncontrolled combustion, resulting in higher rates of pressure rise and high maximum pressures. So basically this factor has caused difficulties in development of very high speed CI engines. So very high speed CI engines require greater angle of injection advance. High ignition quality fuel means high cetane number, which gives reduced ignition delay, and a special design for combustion chamber. Now as the mixture is going leaner, the combustion temperatures get reduced, as well as the cylinder wall temperatures also get reduced. Linear mixture means we are having higher air fuel ratios. So basically the increase in air fuel ratio increases the delay period. With increase in load, air fuel ratio decreases, operating temperature increases, and hence delay period decreases. The engine size has a little effect on the delay period in milliseconds, because when the engine operates at low RPM, then because of inertia, stress limitations, the delay period in terms of crank angle is smaller, and consequently a very less amount of fuel enters the cylinder during delay period. Thus combustion in large slow speed CI engine is smooth. So in this lecture we discussed about the fundamental difference of combustion between the SI engine and CI engine, the stages of combustion and CI engine, and particularly the ignition delay.